Hi everyone. This session is Visioning Classroom Culture for My Remote Classroom. Thank you for showing up and being ready to jump into this learning. This is the fourth session in our first distance learning PD module, Preparing Your Remote Classroom. If you are curious about how all the content fits together and builds on each other, feel free to pause here and read the Distance Learning Teacher Course Introduction document. Otherwise, let's jump in. This slide represents our priorities across all of the Department of Education, and in particular, these professional development trainings are in alignment with our educators' priority. We hope you feel supported by using this resource. The objectives for this session are that we will describe a strategy for establishing strong classroom culture in remote classrooms, and we will create a classroom culture vision and criteria for success. Take a couple of seconds and review the agenda for this session. We always want to ensure our professional development resources are supporting teacher growth and development, and we use the team rubric as the anchor for that. This particular session is aligned to both the expectations and environment indicators on the rubric, and will support development for these descriptors. Take a minute and read through the descriptors for both expectations and classroom environment so you know what we're driving towards. Take 1 minute and think or write. When have you experienced a strong classroom culture? And when have you experienced a weak classroom culture? Pause the video and take the time you need now. Okay, I wish I could hear your thoughts out loud. For me and a lot of teachers that I've worked with in the past, this reflection usually involves some piece of knowing what I was working for. When I knew what a strong classroom culture looked like, I was able to make it happen. When I didn't know, it was much harder to build a strong classroom culture. For many experienced classroom teachers, this work becomes really natural because every year we do it over and over again. We establish strong culture with a new group of students. But we have a clear picture of what we want to build because we've seen it before. We've done it before. If you're building culture in a remote classroom, this is likely the first time you're doing that. So this time, it will feel different. And you need to think about what exactly it is your remote culture will look like and sound like and feel like. This brings us to the key point. I need to think with the end in mind around my remote classroom culture. I do this by defining my vision and my criteria for success for my classroom culture. Thinking with the end in mind, or my vision, will help ensure I have a crystal clear picture of what I want to build. Again, I know many of you have established strong classroom culture in the past, and we have to be sure to go through this process now because remote classrooms are different than in-person classrooms. We are going to walk through a 5-step process to ensure you have a very clear vision, specific criteria for success that you can use to reflect throughout the year to know if you've done it or not. All right, so let's apply this key point and actually vision your remote classroom culture. Here is our 5-step process. First, you're going to gather your school or district culture resources. This could include school rules, handbooks, mission and vision statements, or any other key culture-related documents, artifacts, etc. Reread those resources. Next, based on these resources and your own ideas, you're going to brainstorm. You're going to make a list of what you want for your kids and the kind of remote culture you'll need to build to make it happen. Then you'll write a vision statement to sum up your brainstorm. Your vision statement will answer the question, what will your culture be like when it is at its best? Fourth, you'll prioritize 3 adjectives from your brainstorm that you want to focus on building. This is how you'd want a family, a student, or even a stranger to describe your remote culture if they participated in your classroom for the day. And finally, you're going to get really specific. You're going to think about what you want it to look like, sound like, and feel like in action in your remote classroom. In just a second, you're going to pause the video and take as much work time as you need to work through this process for yourself. But just a quick note about resources. Resource 1 below is a reference document for this 5-step process we just talked through. It also includes a sample completed remote classroom culture vision. Resource 2 below looks like this. This is the template you will use to create your own classroom culture vision. When you pause the video, you scroll down and you'll find both of them. Download them so you can edit and work through this process. Okay, go ahead and pause the video, scroll down the page, get those resources, and have fun planning your own remote classroom culture vision. I hope you had a productive work time and are starting to solidify the vision for your classroom culture. We're going to close out here and review the objectives we established for our time together. We explained the steps to establishing strong culture in remote classrooms, and we created a classroom culture vision and criteria for success. For those of you using the other sessions in this course, building relationships is crucial to strong classroom culture. That is a key foundation to this work. We covered that in session 3. Additionally, in session 7, we'll talk about setting clear expectations for students in remote classrooms. This is another key lever to make your classroom culture vision come alive. In that session, we will use your completed classroom culture vision document as a tool. Thank you so much for taking the time to push yourself today and work through this process. I know that these steps will set you up for a really strong remote classroom culture.